Good afternoon. Welcome to Musings in the Barn with Lynda, the Watson. Today I want to talk about the big F and the little f. And no, not that F. Fear. It's a long discussed topic, but I think how do we narrow it down? How do we bring it all together so it's fairly simple for us to ask ourselves the question, is this a big fear, big F, or a little f? So what's the difference? What are they? Pardon my panting and moving around because while I'm musing in the barn, I'm also cleaning stalls. So we'll start with the obvious, the big F. The fear that our body knows when we're in danger. That when you see a car coming straight at you, or swerve on ice and head for the ditch, maybe. Things like that. Those are big F's. But your initial reaction for that is your heart rate goes up. And you immediately want to move away from it. That's the message in it, is move away from it. Quickly. For your safety. That's the big F. That's the immediate big F. There can be non-immediate big F's, as in, I need to move out of this situation. I maybe don't need to run, but I need to move out of this situation for my safety. And that might be an abusive situation, domestic violence, and those situations. That's a big F. And it is always telling us to move away. In our hearts, it's saying move away. And I almost think the big F is love in a way, because it's keeping us safe. Our body is keeping us safe. And there's no other love like saying, I'm going to keep you safe. So, in simple terms, that's the big F. It's the little F's that can get convoluted sometimes, and we get a little lost in them. One second here to finish this stall. Fluff it up nicely for Brony. Get a nice soft bed so we can get nice clean sheets. There's one. So a little F. Perhaps those are things that we often think we should move away from in our thoughts. But we actually should move into them. Embrace them, walk into them, feel them. So what could that be? That could be public speaking. That could be I'm getting on stage to speak about something and my belly's turning, new butterflies, my heart rate's up. But a different kind of up than the big F up. My mouth is dry. I'm shaking. I feel a little paralyzed. I'm stuck. All those things. We could think of it often as vulnerability. So being in that vulnerable situation where if I just make a simple change, maybe in my thought process, maybe in my movement, if I make a small change, I can overcome this little F and move into it. I can walk on stage and realize that it wasn't so bad after all. It wasn't what I was making it out to be. It wasn't what my head was making it out to be. That to me is a little F. Like there's a phrase, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's sort of what that one is. But how do I ascertain whether it's a big F or little f? I mean, both might get me wanting to run away from it, but it's in a different way. It's a different feeling. The big F is an immediacy to I have to go. I have to turn that car away from the ditch so I'm safe. I have to leave this situation so I'm safe. Walking on stage doesn't present that initial lack of safety. It is, oh no, what could happen? Oh no, I'm afraid to do this. Because people have told me in the past I'm not good enough. People have told me how scary it is for them. I'm not sure I'm confident enough. What happens if I make a mistake? All those thoughts churn in our minds. When we're in a situation of big F, those thoughts don't churn through our minds. Those thoughts just aren't, we just go. Our body says turn and go. Move. That's a movement. Little f is a stuckness. It's a frozen almost. And it's something we can rationalize our way through or talk our way through to move again gently onto that stage, into that presentation, into that conversation that we perhaps have been putting off. There are many, many little F's in our lives, and we could list them and still not get through them all. But I find for myself, it's simply asking that question to myself. And most of the time, I don't even have to ask the question if it's a big F, because that doesn't happen very often. And I've already dealt with it. I don't even have to ask myself if that happens. It's a natural body reaction to respond to that. The body says move. The body says go. Find another direction. Little F's have me arguing with myself. Little F's have me playing the devil's advocate in my head. What if this? What if that? Oh no, what do I do? How can I get out of this? So really the only conversations I have are pertaining to the little F, the little fears, the little vulnerabilities that come up in our lives. The little arguments that we have with our ego. I'm not saying it's easy to get to the other side of them. Different people handle things differently. We've all had different experiences. We all have different ways of dealing with things. We've all had different pasts and upbringing that maybe help us with our little F's or hinder it. So no two people are the same when it comes to dealing with their little F's. But the big question is, do I have to move away from this? Or maybe I should step into it, lean into it, and see what happens. I guarantee you 90% of the time, 99% of the time, you're going to lean into it and find out that you are enough. And you have enough, and you know enough, and you're confident enough, and you're courageous enough to turn that little F into something magical. And something you're going to smile about, something you're going to look back on and go, wow, I did it. You know, I told that little F to, F. And stepped into it, leaned into it. So that is my musings for today. Big F's and little F's. And I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it, and will listen to your big F's and tend to your little F's. Have a wonderful day.